You know, these days in horror, they have this new trend that started. One that sort of started with maybe the Babadook. It's went on to the Witch. I guess you could also say It Follows kind of also keeps that trend. It's kind of like the trend of the art house horror film, like a new wave thing. But it did have roots that went all the way back to 1962, and I say that because the movie I want to review right now, Carnival of Souls from the Criterion Collection, is probably in a lot of ways a bit of a front runner to those type of films we have today. It's a very simple story. It's a very low budget story. A lot of people's probably seen it because it is public domain, and I think it finds its way off into those multi-packs of, well, basically it's everywhere. It's kind of like Night of the Living Dead. You got the little cheap $2 or $3 DVD versions. You've got your movie packs that throws it on there with like 49 other movies. But if you've seen it, maybe you shouldn't judge it until you've seen it on this version, because this is by far the most superior version of Carnival of Souls you're going to find out there. I never actually watched it until I got this, and I'm happy I did watch it now because I'm really impressed with it. And I may have never gave it a chance. When it's buried up with 49 other titles on a 50-pack, you know the name, but you don't know if you're dealing with something like, the Beast from Yukon Flats or something like that. You're a little bit more risky to take a chance with it or something of another. But when Criterion put it out, I had seen a while back that Criterion had put out a DVD of it a long time ago. I think it was a long time ago, maybe one of the first ones that Criterion had put out. And I was really interested in checking that out, but then I found out the Blu-ray was coming, so I waited, and of course, here we go. And if you've never seen it, it's directed by Herc Harvey directed this film. And like I said, it's from 1962. It stars Candice Hilligos, I think's her name. She stars as Mary, who's basically a girl that, after a bit of a racing accident, finds herself washed up off of a muddy river that nobody thought anybody was going to survive, and there she goes. She washes up on the side. She comes up in a very good shot. She comes up out of the muddy water onto the bank there, and everybody's kind of shocked that she made it. And you realize pretty quick that there's just something that's not right about her, which is kind of like the charm of the movie, because from there things seem a little off. She leaves town. She takes the job as like an organ player at a church, but along the way she keeps seeing like this ghoul type guy. It's really cool. Like, I think the director played the characters, like this really cool, like zombie type thing, which is this predates, Night of the Living Dead. So there's maybe your first zombie, maybe, I don't know. But either way, as things progress on, she makes friends with people, but she seems to be slipping out a little bit more, and more weird things seem to happen. And she has these moments to where she kind of blacks out, or people just can't even see her anymore. Like she's in a room, she's talking to them one minute, the next minute, they don't even hear her, they don't even see her, and it kind of leads to some dreamlike sequences, which leads to some really good camera work. Like this thing, one of the best things about it is, it's low budget, there's not a lot of blood, there's no gore, there's not really a body count, but it makes way by just mood and atmosphere. I mean, it's pretty well done. I mean, I just don't know how else to put it, because there's some really good camera shots, and there's some really good, camera angles that they're used, and it just makes things seem a little off at times, which is great. I think it's a really good moody movie, as you could call it that. It's really creepy, and it won me over. Like, I really liked it, but I think a lot of people may not be, judging it properly, because maybe you've not seen a good version of it. And this is a 4K scan here by Criterion Collection, and I got to tell you, from the first frame, now it's not full screen, it's like 137, so you still get the black bars and such on the side, but I have to tell you, from the almost opening shot of this thing, especially when they're outside in the daylight, this thing looks amazing. And I like I said, I don't really know technical stuff. I can just tell you by the way something looks, just by the eye. Does it look good? Does it not look good? Sometimes you run across some Blu-rays, they don't look that great. Sometimes you run across them and they look really good. This one stands out, and especially for a film from 1962, of this budget. And it's kind of been preserved before, but just to see the details, there's some reviews online, like DVD Beaver did a review, and they compared all the versions of it. You can see the difference in the stills, but it looks 10 times even better on your, HD television. So that's Carnival of Souls there, and there's that. But like I said, I give it a 4 out of 5. I was really blown away by it. I'd never seen it till now. So I was really impressed with what I got out of it. I ain't going to fold this all the way out because I suck at trying to fold them back up and it'd be awkward. But you get this big poster with the ghoul in question there. on that side of it, and it's loaded with some pretty nice features. Now, there was I don't know if it was a director's cut. There's another version that was out that has like 80-something minutes. This is the theatrical version. This was like the theater version. So this is only 78 minutes. And as far as I can tell, unless I missed something, there's no other version here. There's no colorized version here. You don't get the guy from Mystery Science Theater ripping on it like some other versions had either, but I don't guess you really need it because I think the 78-minute one is fine. This is, like I said, restored with 4K transfer. Selected scene audio commentary featuring the director and screenwriter John Clifford, the director Harvey, that is, and screenwriter John Clifford. New interview with comedian writer Dana Gold, which I watched. That was pretty interesting. He's a funny guy and he's pretty knowledgeable to this type of stuff. New video essay by film critic David Cairns, The Movie That Wouldn't Die, a documentary on the 1999 reunion of the film with the cast and crew. I watched that. It's like ripped from a television station thing, but very interesting nonetheless. The Carnival Tour 2000 update on the film's locations. Experts from the movies made by Centron Corporation, an industrial film company based in the Lawrence, Kansas, that once employed Harvey and Clifford. Deleted scenes, outtakes, accompanied by Gene Moore's original score, history of the Solitaire Resort in Salt Lake City, where key scenes in the film were shot, trailer, plus an essay by writer and programmer Kirla Janisse, or something of the sort. So, if you love Criterion, if you love their horror releases, if you love horror in general, then this is one I think you guys should check out. I loved it, first time watch. I'll be watching it again. I'll probably try to get some of my friends to see some of this too, because I think it's definitely something that's probably more innovative than it gets credit for these days.